Ben Simmons last year played a lot of different positions defensively. It seemed like they kind of deployed him on whoever the best player was, regardless of who the position is. With your moves this offseason, you've become maybe a little more traditional size wise. I'm just curious on how you envision his specific role
Yeah,
defensively.
pretty much similar. But before I start, I want to just send out my condolences to John Smallwood's family. He's a pioneer in our business, a black columnist, and not just for Philadelphia, but for the entire states. And so I just want to send my condolences and recognition of what he has done for everyone. All right. Back to basketball. Yeah, we're going to use him very similar. When you have a great defender, you put him on different people. You know, you never, with his size, 1 through 4, is pretty much easy for him. And so we'll deploy him very similar in the same way.
Next up, Keith Pompey.
What's up, Doc? How you been?
Hey, what's going on?
Nada. And Doc, I know yesterday you had two guys or three guys, right, basically didn't practice. What's the latest with those guys, and were there anybody else who didn't practice today?
Yeah, we have the guys that were. Can we even talk about the trade
Uh, it's going to be done tomorrow.
tomorrow? So I'll say it anyway. But we have those guys haven't been here either. So we have quite a few guys out. I think our numbers are 13 right now, which is really low. I will say this has actually been very effective too, because what happens in camp a lot, you have 19 and 20 guys, and guys don't get enough reps, right? And so I will tell you that Ben and Joel are saying they're getting a lot of reps right now, and I think it's good. I asked the question because we talked about this yesterday. I asked the guys to raise their hands who has played in the pickup game since the bubble. It was 2. So think about that. I mean, that's so abnormal from normal start of season where guys have a month before where they're training. So that told me a lot.
Now, Doc, I know you have more veteran teams, so you don't really rely heavily on rookies, especially like a late draft pick,
Yeah.
so to speak. But how much is this putting Maxi behind not being able to
Yeah,
get there? I know it's
it,
still
it
early
does,
days.
but it's also with all the young guys. And I'll correct you a little bit. I've had a lot of young guys, that I have played. Rondo was won a championship with us the second year, and in Orlando, that's all I played is the young guys with Mike Miller in that group. But it's nice having the veteran group. I'll tell you that. Uh, I with Maxi, it's going to be interesting because I think he's a field player going by film. You obviously don't know until you get in the gym. I think that'll help him a little bit. But man, I can't imagine being a rookie. Um, what was it, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago to draft? No summer league, not even that. No in the gym with guys. Doing individuals, and first day, hi, time to play. So it's been difficult, I guess, around the league, but I think they'll get it. It's just going to take time.
But do you have something specifically for him to do, like while he's not with the
Yeah,
team? Do
yeah,
you have
yeah. He
something? Yeah.
watches. So like he watches the practice through Zoom. All right. After the practice, he gets with one of our assistant coaches, and they try to walk him through the practice again. So at least visually, he's seeing it twice. And trying to show him the spots that he would be in. I'm hoping he's that type of learner. Some guys can't learn through just video, so we'll see that when we get our hands on him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go to Lauren Rosen next.
Hey, Coach. Last year, Tobias was one of the more vocal leaders on this team. And a few days ago, he told us about the special relationship that you guys have and have
Yeah.
had over the last year or so, checking in on each other, sort of on and off the court with stuff. Now that you guys are reunited, how does your relationship look and what are you seeing from him in these first few days?
Oh, he's been great. Our relationship has grown. In LA, we had to strike up a relationship. He had to get to know me. I had to get to know him. Now we have a relationship. So it's a lot easier. And he also can be a really good conduit for me to the other guys. When I'm quote unquote loud, I don't ever call it screaming. When I'm loud, I think it's been good. You can see Tobias try to explain why I'm loud. I guess would be the way I'm gonna say it.
Let's go to Vince Goodwill.
Hey, Coach. I'm just curious with all of the COVID protocols that the league has passed out. Is there general acceptance that this is going to affect your team this year? And how do you address this sort of thing with them, considering it's not a bubble situation? There's going to be so much personal responsibility that's going to be
Yeah.
involved.
Listen, it's personal responsibility throughout the states, except for half the states don't believe it, if you know what I mean. So for us, we talk about it. You keep your guard up. That's what we talk about all the time. Keep your guard up. But bro, this is different. This is different for all of us. None of us have gone through this. Not having family members. Friends want to come visit. Just all that stuff we've talked about. We haven't resigned ourselves to the fact that it's going to affect us. But what we have but if it does, we just got to keep it moving. And I just hope we can get through this.
Next up, Mark Narbucci. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey Doc, how are you going to be able to balance, trying to get these guys in shape and then, with a preseason game coming up in a week, getting your system all in because of the unusual circumstances of maybe people weren't in the kind of shape that they could have been due to all the COVID stuff?
Yeah, Mark, I don't know. Is the answer. You got a suggestion for me? Because it's different, like it is, and that's what we have to get our arms around. That this is different. As a staff, we're trying to put in as much as we can without, freezing them. If you know what I mean. Like we don't want their brains fried when they get out on the floor and they all are playing, in their head. So it's tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's really difficult. We are picking the important things that we have deemed important, and that's what we're honing in. Like one example is way of play. Like we've really focused on how we want to play, how everything should look. That doesn't necessarily, we're putting in a lot of stuff, but whatever we put in, this is how we want to play our style. Same thing defensively.
Let's go to Tim Dontos.
Hey Doc, kind of to piggyback off what Rich asked earlier, there was a lot of debate last season about where Ben should play at the other end of the court too. He kind of famously got switched playing power forward in the bubble. He's been a point guard before that. I know you're still putting in stuff and figuring things out, but kind of how do you envision his usage this season for you?
You mean defensively or offensively or both? Or?
Offensively.
Just being a terror, playing, going downhill, making guys guard you, being aggressive, being a facilitator. In transition, we want to open the floor and get the ball to Ben, tell him to go make something happen. So, he had a good practice yesterday. He had an off the charts practice today because the two areas, when Ben has the ball, he's very effective in the open space. I think we all know that, right? When Ben doesn't have the ball, we have to make someone guard him every single time. And what that means is his cuts, his flashes, his setting picks. He was so active doing that today. It was amazing. Today, Joel had 4 or 5 post-ups where Ben got a dunk or someone got a three, because we have to work against traps with Joel every day. And so Ben's gonna have a fun year this year.
Is it fair to say with the moves you guys have made to put shooting around him and Joel that he is gonna, I don't know if you want to call it being a point guard again, but that he is gonna have the ball in his hands?
He's our facilitator for sure. I don't ever, unless I have a true point guard like a Chris Paul or Rondo, I don't think I called anybody a point guard the entire season last year. So, but Ben is clearly our facilitator, and Ben is special, man. When he gets the ball in the open floor, there's very few like him, and we want to get him the ball in the open floor to let him be special.
I'm going to take our last one here from Paul Hundrick. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey Doc, just curious. You obviously have watched a ton of Ben and Joel on film, and throughout your career. Is there anything that's kind of jumped out at you as maybe something in practices by having them in these situations that maybe you didn't know about them, or something maybe where you feel like you can use them differently than they were used in the past?
Well, they're both, and you say this wherever you go. I have to make this point. Whenever you get somewhere and you're with one of the star players, you always stand. He's better even up close, And I would say that with both of them. Ben's size is just striking when you stand next to him every day. One thing I think we're really trying to get them to do is to play more two-man games with each other. They had a great one today that was just an instinctive action that Dave Yeager and I were laughing like you're not stopping that. But they have to do it instinctively more than us always having to call it. And if they can do that, they're going to be tough to stop.
Great. Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Take care.